Here, we can spend any extra money that you secured on perks. Each of these perks benefit both you and your current team. They stay with you, so they'll make you a more attractive prospect in future negotiations.
The session has drawn to a close, so let's review our top three. Bottas.
Now then. Yeah, where are we? Oh, we're in China. For getting into this weekend, we just did all the driver perk upgrades. I realised I hadn't been doing them lately, so we've got all them on now for this weekend. P1, practice 1 and practice 2 absolutely soaked out, so decided not to bother doing them because the race weekend itself is in quali and race day. They're supposed to be really nice and sunny, so I thought there's absolutely no point doing runs in 2 practice sessions that are rained out. So I've jumped straight into practice 3, having a little play with setups because one of the objectives is to run 2 setups, but as always got to lower down those tyre pressures. We get most of the programs done. We head on to quali. Hopefully this weekend we can have a decent weekend. It seemed to go quite well last time. Got P12, our best result yet. And China is a track that I'm normally quite good at. So we'll see how we do. Yeah, make sure those tyre pressures are right, because found out last time that you can't actually adjust the tyre pressures before the race like you could do on 2019. Once you've set them for quali, that's that, you've set them. So yeah, make sure that they were set correctly and we go out on our first lap. I'm not afraid to burn out all my soft store in the quali because I am sort of expecting that I'm not going to be running them in the races. I'll go out turn 1 already and the tyres are already overheating, although one left. The surface temperature was already getting pretty hot and that was just the one corner, so I imagine after a few laps it's going to be struggling quite a bit. Alex Albon sets an early fastest lap, but I am sort of as expected, soft tyres overheating as I come onto as I went onto the long back straight, and as we cross the start finish line, our first lap is a second slower than I'm guessing Albon's lap was. Or is that a second slower than the next competitive car? Or is it the threshold? What does the screen say? Stick on the next set of softs. It must be a second slower than the threshold because we're well off. 2.8 seconds down. So yeah, definitely got to run a few more times. Not far off his teammate, which is decent.
So far, our fastest lap is a 1 minute 33.9.
1:33.9. I do run a second lap, but I didn't improve, so I dove in the pits, and we are out now on our final attempt. Just 1 minute left in the session. So it's all or nothing now. Can we get out of Q3 again like we did? So can we get out of Q1 again like we did do last weekend? Qualifying complete then, we are still in the drop zone, 4 tenths up below, 3 tenths up, 4 tenths up. It's been a good exit, half a second looking at can we get out of Q1. I think it'll be close. We should definitely improve. Where are we? Ooh, P18. That's a good result, that though. It is a good result. I'm happy with that. Happy with that. How far off were we? Pretty far off. So that's probably as good as we could do. George Russell did very well actually in his Williams. Surprisingly well. Romain Grosjean miles off the pace, but George Russell did pretty well in his Williams. So yeah, P18 for the race.
It's time to find out which driver is up to the task of claiming the Chinese Grand Prix. We're here in Shanghai. We start a lap here at Shanghai with the long, difficult right-handers of turns 1 and 2, the first of 16 corners that make up this 3.3-mile circuit. The incredibly long back straight provides the best passing opportunity of the lap, with speeds in excess of 200 miles per hour before the braking zone of turn 14. Joining us today to oversee all the thrills and spills, it's Anthony Davidson. And great to see you. How are you feeling about the race today, and how are the circuit conditions from what you've seen?
Well, it's looking a bit cold out there if I'm honest. These tyres have quite a narrow operating window in terms of the temperatures they need to extract the best grip. So with a cold track surface, it's going to be harder to keep those temperatures up, which will lead to lower grip and maybe more mistakes.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Leclerc, Alexander Albon, and Ricciardo, Sainz, Norris, Ocon, and Lance Stroll, Vettel, Kvyat, Sergio Perez, and Raikkonen, Gasly, Giovinazzi, Kevin Magnussen, and the engineer, Russell, Boccolacci, Grosjean, and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
4 poles in a row then for Bottas. Great stuff for him. I don't know if there's an issue with Vettel, but he's been P11 I think in every single race so far. Anthony Davidson says the temperatures will not be that bad today, so that should stop my mediums from overheating. But it's 5 lights and we're off, and it's a pretty good start to be honest. It's not actually a bad start. My starts in this game have been pretty well. Avoid contact into turn 1, go around the outside where no one is. Get the inside line for turn 2. Everyone's getting nice and slow, makes me a lot of positions. I'm in P13. Lots of contact though. And we seem to make it out all okay. I don't think anybody has damage. So P13 after turn 1. Having a look at Kvyat though. Yellow flags. I think that's just because everyone's going so slow. Kvyat beats me on the exits and holds on to P12. So a very good start there on the opening first few corners. And well, similar to last week. Whoa, dearie me. Gasly getting a bit impatient, probably a bit angry after what happened in Vietnam. But yeah, not a bad start there. Same position as last week now, really. Just hopefully if there's a few retirements up front we could get ourselves a couple of points. There's a lot of people on softs up front as well actually, and I'm on mediums, so if everyone's doing a soft medium or a soft hard and I'm doing a medium hard, then my tyres should be in better conditions towards the end of the race, or then I'll be making an extra stop than me, which they used to do on the previous games and it never really works out on the other games. So we shall see how things go. But as we come round the final corner now, it's P13, that's what's that 5 position on the first lap. So a very good start, very good start. As we approach the end of
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you are within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Yep, cheers Jeff, end of lap 2. Not too bad, maintaining our gap well, but Kvyat's breaking out ahead of us, but we're holding those behind quite nicely. and that continues for the next few laps, lap 3 and lap 4. Kvyat slowly pulling away from us, but we're into P11, so who's in the pits actually? It looks like some people have pitted early. There must be some hards. Ooh, my days. Gasly getting a bit of payback surely for Vietnam. He just absolutely barges his way into me.
Keep on him. He might make a mistake.
Well, we'll see if he makes a mistake. His tyres will be pretty old. He'll be coming into pits in a minute, but he's clearly got much more pace than me on his soft sandbar mediums. See if we can stick with him until the DRS zone though. Might be able to try and get him back. And I've gone too deep into there, and the AI are really quick through these 2 corners leading up to the DRS zone, and he's going to be too far ahead. But look at this, he's absolutely bullied his way in. He's quite lucky not to get any front wing damage there, and I'm quite lucky not to get a puncture, but that was very, very aggressive there by Gasly. Probably almost as aggressive as me last week. Yellow flags at the hairpin. There's a McLaren of Lando Norris out of the session. So that restores us back into P11, so that's good. That's one of the retirements that I need to possibly get me some points in this race. Got some pitters in as well. Looks like Ocon's in the pits. We are losing a small amount of time, but Ocon's in the pits. We stick with Gasly quite nicely, pick up his DRS, and he pulls into the pits as well. So a lot of people pitting very early. I don't know if they're going soft, hard, soft, medium, soft, hard. I'm not quite sure yet, but a lot of them are diving into the pits a lot earlier than I thought. I thought they'd be stopping, so, well, probably Gasly's lap to be honest, lap 6, lap 7, but quite a few of them jumping into pits a lot earlier than expected. I'm now up to P6 though, so hopefully if they can all sort of back each other up in the pits, we'll be alright. Let's just have a look at strategy. Everyone in front of me now is running medium, so we're all doing medium hards. So we're all on the same strategy. Ooh, bit aggressive. Perez is going to have me here, but oh, he's got no. Surprisingly, I think for once the AI's get off out of the corner wasn't actually as good as mine. Normally my launch out of corners has been pretty poor at the start of the season, but this time round the pink Mercedes can't match my Honda power, which is a bit surprising. So we're coming up a quarter of the way through this race now. Things going okay, still P6, falling behind quite rapidly to those in front of us. And Perez, the AI have been quicker than me, or Perez is definitely quicker than me through that corner every single lap, but that is not the way to go about it. Trying to barge your way in there. Mind you, Gasly did it a few laps ago. 8.8 seconds to Kvyat. I'm not catching Kvyat. I think Kvyat's a lost cause here. But yeah, that was the AI much quicker than me going into that first corner. Let's see what he does next time round. On board with Perez, I take my usual wide line. Oh, and he's done it again. And he hasn't got wing damage, but you can't do that too many times because you will end up with wing damage. A few laps in a row now. Perez being a bit aggressive there, a bit too aggressive for my liking. Putting some comfortable laps now, and yeah, a couple of good comfortable laps there. Perez not really closing on his tyres, probably worn off, probably can't hold the box this lap. The tyres have gone a little bit. I don't think he can hold the momentum through turn 1, which is obviously a very tyre heavy corner. So yeah, a couple of nice stress-free laps there without being bullied around the first corner by Perez. But it is end of lap 12 and we are coming into the pits with Verstappen behind us. He must have been holding him up. He must have been doing a soft. He must be doing a soft medium, I'm assuming. I'm going to jump onto hards. Mind you, maybe he might have to do a soft hard. We'll see what he does. I think he's on the mediums. I think I've just seen.
Go now.
Ooh, 1.8. Me, that's even better. Verstappen.
These tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound.
Verstappen was right behind me, going onto the pit, and then he's miles off. That pit stop was incredible. We came out P18, we've made a jump on quite a few people who's worked out well. Pitting early, we've got the head of Perez, but I think he's going up the inside, or not, Verstappen going up the inside. That's alright, he's going to get past me eventually anyway. So we pitted a lap earlier than those around us, and we've come out ahead of them. So that's worked very nicely for me, because there's no doubt that if they pitted first, then they would have come out way ahead of me. They definitely had the pace over me. Boccolacci in the pits now, halfway through the race. Verstappen pulling away as expected, but my race is up with him. He's going to be challenging for the top 5 as he sets the fastest lap as well. He's going to be challenging for the top 5. I'm challenging for the top 10. There'll be a couple of who's in the pits there. Boccolacci and Giovinazzi, I think it was. That puts us up to P13. And what's going on around us? Those in front aren't doing too bad. I think we could probably catch them. P13, lap 16. Got my old friend Perez behind me as I take my normal wide line, a little bit wider that time I think, when Perez has seen it again, and for the 3rd or 4th time now, Perez has a little dive up the inside and makes contact, and might get a bit squirrely on the exit there. Perez, ooh, that's probably about as defensive as I can get without breaking the rules, and we managed to hold on to P13. Not for points this at the moment, we still need some more people in front of us to pits, but I think it's going to stick us out around P9, P10, so this could be for the final point. We shall have to wait and see, but very, very competitive at the moment between me and Perez. Luckily we're both on the same compound of tyre. Is he going to have a go here? No, too far ahead. Too far ahead of him there. And my straight line speed down here has been far more superior to the AI all weekend, so I don't have to worry about DRS, just sticking into overtake, sticking into rich, and we pull away quite nicely. I've not got a good exit there. Went a bit wide, but I seem to have held on okay. Perez, I think it's too far back this time. I've got even wider. Perez this time thinks about it, doesn't make contact for once, and we get away down to the next corner. But Perez, I know, has had such good launch off that corner the last few laps,
Our gap to the car in
but
front
he doesn't
is 10.0 seconds.
attack us this time. Gasly 10 seconds ahead.
Stopping now.
Gasly 10 seconds ahead. No concern really on me catching him. However, he has just pitted, so we have jumped him. That puts us into P9. And Perez again going up the inside, is it? And he's gonna sue. I can't tell. Trying to go around the outside now. Nowhere to get around there as the corner just shuts you off. And once again, he's gonna have him before the corner here. He's took me. Ooh. He seems to get me on the straight, but going into the corner, his braking, well, his braking and his get out just seems to be awful. Too early on the brakes and too slow on the power to ride on board. Tries to take it around the outside, but it's just never going to work around there. Great launch off that corner, which he's had all week. On the outside, but too early on the brakes and just shut out. Needs to try something a little bit different, I think.
Our teammate by 9.4 seconds. They're on fresh hards. They're in 19th. The time last lap was a 1:37.9.
I had absolutely no idea where my teammate was all race, to be honest. I was not focused on him in the slightest. Far more important things going on. End of lap 18, end of lap 19. That exit is far too wide again. Perez is gaining. If he gets me before turn 1, that'll be that. He's too good through turn 1 for me to even catch up with him and stay near him. And that looks to me like it'll be job done. So we're down to P10, the last point position, and unfortunately we've got Sainz behind us now, and he's running on medium tyres, which will be even harder to keep him behind us already. He's trying to have a go around the outside, and he's got me. This is last ditch defending now. This is for the only points, and we've got 9 laps to hold on to it. Perez, our little squabble has made Perez just absolutely disappear into the distance. He's already out of DRS zone. But yes, this is now last point. It's all or nothing. I will crash if I have to hold on to this position. I do not want Sainz taking away my first point of my career. We hold on through the DRS zone. I think as long as we can get to the DRS zone, we're fine. I can normally turn it actually down to standard and medium through DRS zone. It's through sector 1 and sector 2 that the AI have just got so much more power than me, so much more speed. They just carry it through these corners so well, and the launch out of them is just phenomenal compared to me. As once again,
Keep managing your tyres. Manage your tyres.
Jeff wants us to manage his tyres, as once again we go down, and he's gonna sit tight for now. Yes, sits tight for now so we can breathe a little bit easier. But this is going to be a very, very tense final few laps, as I've gone far too wide. Sainz is trying to go up with contact a few times. I've put my hand up. I'd be surprised if Sainz doesn't have front wing damage there. What does he have? Let's move over to the side to see his wing. I can't see from there. I can't see. I'd be surprised if he doesn't have front wing damage. Let's have a look at Sainz. It goes up the inside. I'll leave it open for him, and then he accelerates into a wheel, and he does have front wing damage. You can see it hanging off the front left. So that is very disappointing for him. He'll have to pit to get that fixed, but unless it's not bad enough that he can continue going, but it is bad, so he has to pit now to get that fixed, which ruins his race. That's going to put him right down near the back of the pack, if not in dead last. But it's a blessing for me, as I had a very challenging Carlos Sainz behind me, and now I've got a very unchallenging Kimi Raikkonen behind me, who is constantly, well, not challenging me. So Kimi Raikkonen behind on the hard tyres, not going that quick, but he does have Ocon behind him, and Ocon is challenging Raikkonen, and if Ocon gets into P11, which he does, then that could make the last few laps a little bit more interesting, because Ocon's on the mediums, and I'm on some pretty damn worn hards. Catching the car ahead, apparently says Speedy Jeff, but I don't care about catching the car ahead. What I care about is Ocon behind me, the one singular point that I need in the championship, and we have 2.5 laps to hold him at bay. A very testing 2.5 laps this will be. Ocon, again the AI was such good launch.
Gap ahead is 7.3 seconds.
And he's got me going into the DRS zone, but luckily for me, the AI have been pretty poor through the DRS zone. Hopefully Ocon will be the same, as he doesn't appear to get away. Has to get in a rich and overtake, front left overheating, even on hards, but that shouldn't make a difference, as luckily he overtook me at just the wrong point on the track, and we get it back as we come round the hairpin and round the final corner to end off lap 26. 2 laps to go and 1 position to hold. The nerves at this point whilst doing the race were pretty tense. Yellow flag. What's happening now? Ricciardo's out. I don't care about Ricciardo, I care about the other Renault. The other Renault is far more important to me right now. Been quite timid through the first 2 sectors, which is good. It looks like it's all going to come down to the last lap, because he cannot have me in the DRS zone. I mean, he can if he somehow pulls it all together, but he can't. He's just not good enough. So it's all going to come down for him on the final lap. And the final lap
This is your
is
final
now.
lap. Final lap of the race.
It is the final lap, Jeff. Got on board. Doesn't look like there's going to be an opportunity. No, learn and keep it a little bit tighter. I learned from my days with Perez to keep it a little bit tighter and just not allow the space. Valtteri Bottas has won the race, but quite frankly, I do not care about who's won the race. I care about who's going to finish in 10th position. Ocon's gaining, but I thought it was too far back to give it a go. He makes contact again. I thought that was pretty heavy contact there actually. Quite lucky to not get wing damage, and I checked my front wing for damage and there's nothing there either. Quite lucky there not to pick up damage. So, halfway there. This is the final point now where he can attack. Going into the start of the DRS zone, but surely if he gets me here I'll just get him back on the straight anyway. Doesn't seem to be gaining, and he hasn't gained. All we have to do now, hold it together around this long right-hander, hit the braking zones, don't crash the car, don't pick up a penalty either, because I'm pretty sure I've got 2 warnings already elsewhere in the race, and it'll be the 1 point. Already weaving a little bit as we come down. We cross the line, we're on the board, it's 1 point.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Be a bit more happy, Jeff, says me. Don't, anyway. Driver of the day. That means Anthony Davidson will say my name.
So Mercedes have won it, and what a great race it was. So Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes. So let's review the updated drivers' standings. More points for Valtteri Bottas, further solidifying his lead at the top of the table. Let's focus on the driver of the day, Anthony Davidson. Who do you pick?
I have to give it to the engineer. They fought so hard and had incredible pace at times, so I don't think anyone else did a better job today.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, good work from Racing Point this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time? Be sure to join us again as we continue to bring you the latest excitement in Formula One.
Yes, we pick up our point. We move up to 15th now in the drivers and joint with Alfa Romeo in the constructors. Valtteri Bottas wins the race and picked up fastest lap as well, which was good for his title after 4 poles in a row.
Really
and not
seem to enjoy
winning.
that. You made it look easy. You really cut your way through the field today. What was your strategy?
Ooh, I think surely it was power unit. It was mainly the straight that held it all together.
Your team must be ecstatic with how you're performing.
We're all ecstatic. We're all ecstatic.
Appreciate your time.
Cheers, Claire. Yeah, Valtteri Bottas did well then, picks up a win. He 4 poles in a row, and I don't think he's won at all the 4. We don't actually, unfortunately, just now we don't pick up our bonus either actually for sponsorship because I skipped the practice sessions early on in the weekend. I didn't get any questions, and I didn't get any questions from practice 3, which was dry. Practice 1 and 2 were wet. I didn't get any questions in qualifying, so I only got those 2 questions then at the end of the race. So we don't pick up our sponsorship bonus of 4 questions, which is really a bit frustrating actually. So it means probably going forward, even in future weekends, I might have to even run when it's a wet practice sessions and it's a dry race. So just so I can get the questions in and get the sponsorship bonus. Press interview.
Here we are in the HQ of our newest Formula One team. We've got an awful lot to talk about, so let's jump straight in. You've been struggling to get points this season.
I don't think we have.
What are the key areas of improvement you need to make to the team?
I think we could probably work on the drag side, but I don't think we've been struggling with points. It's been 4 races, I picked up a point.
Will your team
Daft
be
game.
going for the Constructors' Championship this season, or just for points?
Is this guy taking piss? Right, well, we're not going for constructors, are we, mate? You know, we're hoping to get plenty of points. You know, we're developing for a new team.
Would it be safe to say that in terms of team orders, your career comes first in your team?
That would be safe to say, yes. It's my team. If Boccolacci doesn't listen to me, I'll fire him.
What are your predictions for your team going into this season?
Isn't that the same question you just asked me a minute ago? You know, we're going to be looking for points. You know, maybe midfield, but I don't think we'll be quite at midfield. We'll just be looking to pick up some points.
Your second driver seems to be getting much more comfortable with their car. Have you been focusing on their development?
Probably not as much as I should be, to be honest. I could probably push them a little bit harder, to be fair. I think I probably actually need to spend a little bit more time with them.
Thanks so much, as ever, for your time. It's hugely appreciated.
No problem. Does anyone else think that his mouth doesn't marry up the words? It seems that the sound coming out seems to be a bit off compared to usual. But anyway, maybe that's just my game. Power unit failure development. We get in what else? Let's put in turbo durability, I think. Let's get that done. So we've got as many upgrades on the car as possible. I think I'm going to improve facility now because I need to improve facilities to do more upgrades, and I'm going to go for engine power unit failure reduction sort of thing. What is upgrade failure reduction? Since I've just had a power unit failure. Actually, do I go for power unit? I might go for chassis actually. I think I'll go for chassis because it's got question marks there. But that's that, and we are off to Zandvoort.